Many children were taken. With parents having to work more and more and with no time left for their families, the foster schools were introduced. In a no-win situation, if you didn't work in a high level, you couldn't get a birth permit, and if you could afford a birth permit, you couldn't afford the time to care for your children, and so the idea of the nuclear family was strategically phased out. Mass sterilization was enforced to combat the population increase as elitist cloning and genetically enhanced pregnancies were brought in. If you lived in lower levels, you would be offered money and food in exchange for sterilization. It would only be a matter of years until those below would not be vanquished, but would just simply die. She belongs to the last generation of pure breeds, the generation taken from their parents. Every day she wakes, and as the remembrance of who and what she is returns, she wishes she could have stayed there in the peaceful comfort of her dreams. Now awake, she recalls the day she was taken, the day the system claimed her for its own. Isn't she beautiful? Such a pretty girl you have. She'll be a model someday. Her mother had such high hopes for her, purely based on the child's beauty. That was, of course, before the concept of family disappeared, and before Gwent went to the Institute. That is where she met Roach, that quiet, shy, and creepy boy, who had since become like a brother, and for fear of losing him completely, nothing more. Now sometimes when she looks into her own pretty eyes, she can't help feeling a kind of shame, not an image of innocence and beauty, not a model or actress but a killer. She still sees that scared little girl, afraid of her secret power, unable to shift that image of the body, her first kill, an accidental defense mechanism to the advances of a pedophile, her stepfather. She was signed over soon after that. Look at me now, mother, wherever you are. Now in her 30th year, it is into her own mother's eyes she looks, and that is where her shame comes from. From this mirror she snorts, and her sadness is cleared away by something resembling joy, happy chemicals to make you forget. At her makeup table, still looking youthful, ceremonially applying, feeling doll-like, stunning in her dress, jewelry sparkles. "Gwyneth, darling, so glad you could make it." Lie. "Yes, the party is fantastic." Lie. Meaningless talk and meaningless people, all trying to project the opposite, consuming more artificial smile medicine, posing and laughing. She knows she is no better. In her intoxicated loneliness, she allows herself to be taken away by someone into a bathroom, surprised at her lack of excitement, taken from behind over a marble sink by a man who has forgotten her name, and she his, entirely empty, eyes wide and numb, remembering that day her powers first awoke. She wants to kill him. The mirror cracks, the lights spark and fade to darkness. The man withdraws and staggers to the floor, trousers round his ankles, and turning round she stands over him. Still in this low light he can see her eyes are aflame. His trousers are barely up as he bolts out of the door. As her rage subsides and the emptiness returns, she slumps to the floor. Her makeup smears. "One day you'll be a star," her mother always used to say.